Hi, all. Thanks a lot for joining in. This is Rahul. I hope you guys are able to hear me and able to see my screen. Guys, could you please confirm on the chat box if you are able to hear me? All right. Thanks for confirming. So we're gonna get started in another 5 minutes. Look like there are other people joining in. So let's wait for 5 minutes and then we're gonna get started. All right, guys. So let's get started. I hope everyone is able to hear me. All right. Thanks for confirming. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay. So I'm Rahul. I'll be your instructor for the entire Selenium training. As far as my experience is concerned, I'm having over 14 plus years of experience in software testing itself. Out of which, if I talk about automation, I am into this automation industry from over 9 to 10 years, where I've worked on various automation tools like QTP, Selenium. I've worked on various performance testing tools as well. Even I worked on API automation tools and like if I talk specifically about Selenium, then I'm into the Selenium automation from past 8 to 9 years when there was a very first version of Selenium introduced in the market. So I'm using Selenium since that time. So, like I used to work as a test manager with one of the company in Gurgaon in India. So I've handled a lot of automation projects. I've handled automation teams. I've delivered a lot of corporate trainings around India, in Mumbai, in Bangalore, in Delhi, Gurgaon, even in New York to a company called as Shutterstock.com in Seattle to Spoken Communications. So whatever that I have gained from my experience, that is what I'll be delivering in this Selenium training. So if I talk about this training program, so this is going to be a very detailed, in-depth training on Selenium automation. So which is going to be at least it is going to take at least 3 months to cover the entire training program. We're going to get started with the core Java basics because there are many people in the group who are coming from manual testing background and they don't have any prior knowledge on the programming part. So we're going to get started with ABC of core Java. We're going to cover the core Java part in very depth so that once you go through these core Java sessions, you'll feel like that you can write any program easily in core Java. And then once the Java part is finished, then we'll be starting with the automation part. So automation will be covering complete Selenium. There are a lot of integrations that we'll be doing with Selenium that you might have heard about, like TestNG, Maven, Jenkins, Git. Then we'll be working on various live projects. We'll be working on different design patterns like data driven is there, page object model is there, page factories are there, and then there's a unique course that we have introduced few years back, something called as Automation Architect 7 live projects. So those are detailed 7 live projects that you're going to get access to. And but before we get started with the actual training program, I believe most of you are from the testing background. Anyone from the development background as well in the group? So about this webinar session, guys, this is a go to webinar session. In this session, by default, everyone will be on mute because you can see at the moment there are around 41 attendees. So if like everyone is unmuted, then there will be a lot of noise and disturbance. So by default, everyone is on mute. In case you want to talk to me directly, you can just ping it in the chat box. You can see a chat option in this GoToMeeting session that you can simply click on it and type your question or query over there, and I'm gonna respond immediately on that. Uh, in case you want to talk to me directly, just ping me and I can unmute you from here, and then you can directly interact with me. So I really want that these sessions should be very interactive. Uh, so that you'll feel like that you're not taking an online session, you are actually sitting in a class and taking a classroom session. So that is what like we're going to make it very interactive so that you're not going to feel bored. And automation itself is an interesting topic, so you'll really going to enjoy these sessions. But before we get started, do you have any questions, any queries that you want to ask? Anything that you want to ask before we get started? Session duration, Shiva, it is like 3 months is the total duration. Classes will be every Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to keep it 2 hours each. And the timings, we are going to keep it same, that is 8 p.m. IST India time till 10 p.m. India time. So you can convert it in your zone. There are many students attending from US, UK, Canada as well. So you guys can convert this time into your zone as well. Right. Study material. So there are a lot of study material that will be provided. If you guys have already gone through the email or yeah, 3 months is for Java and Selenium. So if you have already gone through the email or if you have already gone through the website, so very recently we have introduced a concept called as lifetime membership club. So in this group itself, there are many people who are already enrolled, and there are many of you who are attending the session for the very first time at the demo session. So let me make you clear with what this lifetime membership is. So this is like a one-time membership cost, like you enroll for Selenium training. The cost is in Indian currency is 10,000, in USD is 149 USD. So once you enroll for this, basically if we talk about industry, Selenium is not the only automation tool. So Selenium is your base for automation. Every manual testing opening or every automation opening, Selenium is like a prerequisite. But Selenium is not the only tool. There are n number of automation tools in the industry where once you go out for an interview, they're not just going to ask you about Selenium. So you may have heard about a tool called as Protractor. Is there? Cypress is there? Then API automation is very important. I mean, the combination of Selenium plus API is like a boom in the industry. So there are a lot of automation tools that you actually need to go through in your career. But to get started with automation, Selenium will actually going to help you in building up your base. So once you enroll for Selenium, you will automatically gonna get this lifetime membership club access. In this, you're gonna get access to all our ongoing training batches. Like if you go through this entire page in detail, you're gonna see that we are conducting not just Selenium training, we are conducting Selenium with Python, Selenium with Java, we are conducting API automation, then JMeter performance testing, manual testing. So all these trainings will gonna come to you free of cost once you enroll for this lifetime membership. So it's like you can repeat your batches as well once you attend Selenium training. In case you want to uh, go for performance testing, then we are conducting batches on performance testing as well. Then you're going to get free access to performance testing. You're going to get free access to API testing. Not just this, there are many automation tools which we have created a video library. Like Cypress is the latest automation tool, which is very much happening in the market these days. You're going to see a lot of openings in Cypress. So these are detailed video library we have created. Whatever that like new tool is launched in the market or it's in demand, we try to create at least a video library on the same. So you're going to get access to all our future trainings, future live trainings, even to all the video library that we create. So this is like one of the unique concept which people are actually liking it. So that's what lifetime membership is. I'm gonna send you the details of this lifetime membership to your email ID through which you are registered for this demo session. But okay, Shweta is saying that she cannot hear anything. Let me see. Okay, guys, I believe rest other you're able to hear me. All right, thanks. So as I said that like we'll be first starting with the core Java part, and we have a very expert instructor with us whose name is Abhigya Jha. So he's also into this automation industry. He's working as an automation lead. and he has also worked on various automation tools like Selenium. He's an expert in API automation stuff as well, and he's associated with Way2 Automation from long time. So he'll make you understand core Java in such a way that you'll feel like that core Java is just like a piece of cake. So like we're not gonna get started with Selenium today. Guys, can you hear me? All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for confirming. I'm not sure where the audio issue is, but yeah, sure. Thanks for confirming, guys. All right. So, like, I'll gonna switch over the presentation to Abhigya. So he'll gonna take your core Java sessions that we are going to start from today itself. So let me unmute Abhigya and I'll make him the presentation. And before that, do you guys have any more questions to ask? Anything that you want to ask before we get started with the training? Yes, Sri. If you enroll for Selenium, you're going to get access to all our other courses as well. So that's what the unique for that we recently introduced. Yeah, we'll be covering collections in core Java, Shiva. Right. So I'm going to switch over the presentation to Abhigya, and he'll gonna take over from there. So Tanya, the timings would be same only because there are many students attending from US. If you switch it to 5 o'clock, then like it will be very early time for them. Yes, Atul, we're gonna work on real projects. We're gonna cover the entire framework designing from very scratch. DSL algorithm is not required for Selenium at the moment. So that is again a very detailed topic. So if we talk about DS and algorithm, it itself it's going to take more than 10 sessions on it. Arena, you are actually typing in the chat box itself. I can see your messages. During the session, if you have any questions related to project, you all guys will be included in the WhatsApp group. You can post your queries, your doubts over there. We're gonna give you the best possible assistance. So you can even mail all your queries to the mail ID, like I'll be sharing it with you. So you're gonna get complete support in that. Okay, Arvina, you are not able to see other queries because this GoToWebinar session basically you can see only your query and what I type over here. But at the end of the session, I'll be mailing you all the questions that other students have asked. Yes, Arvind, complete OOP concepts will be covered. Right. Shweta will be covering in depth of core Java that is required for Selenium. All right, then I'll switch the presentation to Abhigya, and he'll gonna take over now.
Hi guys,
Hi
this is
guys.
Abhi. Can you guys see my screen? Please confirm if you're able to see my screen. Guys, am I audible? Because I cannot see any response from anyone.
Uh,
Ra-
yes, Abhigya, I guess like you're audible and everyone is typing. So are you not able to see the chat? Uh,
No, I cannot see the chat.
okay. Let me make you organizer. Yes, give me a moment. Just see if you are able to see the chat.
Yes, I can see now.
All right, that's great. So you can take over.
Thank you, Rahul. So, guys, okay, welcome again. Welcome to the V2 automation, and I hope your queries are clear as far as the course content and the process is concerned. And as Rahul has said, I'll be taking the Java classes here, the core Java sessions which are required for Selenium. So those things I will be covering here. Before I start the course content, let me talk about my experience. So I have 9 years of experience. I'm working as an automation lead, and I'm doing automation stuff for the last 6 years. I have worked on many automation tools like Selenium, API, REST assured, HTTP client. I've worked on APM, RunnerX. So these are the tools that I've worked upon. On Python, sorry, on language part, I have experience in Java and in Python, and also in C Sharp. But most of my experience belongs to the Java. And here in V2 automation, I'm covering the core Java topic, core Java classes for last more than 4 or 5 years. Okay, so this is all about my experience, and as far as the course content is concerned, as Rahul has said you already, that we will be covering the core Java topics which are required at least for automation. Although Java is itself is a huge programming language, and we cannot cover everything in 8 or 9 classes. But whatever is required, which you must know, so that you can do the automation using Selenium, those things I will be covering here. You can see my previous batch videos on V2 Automation website. I think those videos are already available, and you can go through those videos and you will understand how deep I take any of these sessions. So don't worry about the course quality. Let be assured I will be delivering the classes in the best manner, whatever I can do from my side. Okay, and before I start the class, the actual thing, anybody have any doubt? Please ask related to Java. Anyone have any questions? No one has any question. Okay, are you guys? Okay, okay. Yes, so basically I will be covering only the Java part, and the Selenium part will be covered by Rahul Arora. If you don't have any Java experience prior to this course, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I will be covering core Java in the best possible manner. It will make your life very easy. And if you don't have any experience, believe me, at the end of the course, you will feel like, yeah, you are liking, Java. Yes, we will be covering the collections topic, exception handling. Now, Gaurav is asking, is Java necessary? Okay. Now, this is a very good question. Is Java necessary? Believe me, guys, whatever experience I have, and I'm telling you as a, not as a trainer, I'm just telling you as a, friend, that when you start, or when you are starting to, migrate yourself from manual to automation engineer, first learn any programming language. Forget about the tool that you are choosing, that I want to learn Selenium, or I want to learn APN, or I want to learn Rest Assured for API testing. That is not that important. But learning a programming language is much more important than anything else. Now, that programming language can be Java, that can be Python. These are the two languages which are mostly used right now. But here we will be covering Java. So if you are asking, is Java necessary? Of course, it is mandatory. You cannot run away from programming language, because ultimately Selenium is not a play, record and play kind of thing. You'll have to write code. And in order to write a code, you'll have to use a programming language. Okay. So knowing a programming language is a must for any automation tool nowadays, because most of the people are working on open source APIs, and all those APIs uses some programming language. So programming language is important, either Java or Python, but here we will be covering Java. Okay, if you don't have any programming background, don't worry about it. Shrisha is asking, actually I am from teaching profession, would like to switch to IT, will it be helpful for me? Yes, of course it will be helpful for you. Okay, I have seen many teachers who have switched to IT industry, and they are doing very well. In fact, one of my colleague which was working with my previous company, he had a experience of 5 years of teaching, then he moved to IT industry, and now right now he's in Microsoft. So never know, when you put your hard work, you have teaching experience, you can do it better in IT industry as well. How much Java is required for Selenium? Core Java. In core Java, arrays concept, OOPS concept, collections, string, exception handling, file handling, and the basics of Java, that is only required. Okay. Anything else before I start? Don't worry, don't hesitate. Get your doubts clear before we start these sessions, because these are the basic, things that you must have in your mind. Okay. Done. Anything else? How many weeks required to cover Java classes? I'll be taking 8 to 9 classes. I will be taking 8 to 9 classes to cover the core Java topics. The classes will be at least of 2 hours. So be prepared, because the classes might extend after 2 hours as well. So you get yourself prepared mentally. That is more important for me. And just one suggestion I have for all of you who are attending these sessions right now. Till you are attending my core Java classes, think that you are here not to learn Selenium, you are here to learn Java. That mindset is very important, because I'm telling it again and again. If your Java concepts are clear, believe me, Selenium is nothing. Selenium is just a piece of cake if you know any of the programming language very well. So try to learn Java the best possible manner. I will be giving you assignments. I will be giving you scenario, study materials, and many things I will be providing to you. Attend the sessions very seriously. Do the assignments and come with your doubts. And believe me, at the end of the core Java sessions, Selenium will become very easy for you. Arvina is asking, can we get practice session as well per live scenarios? I will be taking good questions, good scenarios, good examples to make you guys understand a particular topic. Okay, but I have a time frame defined for the core Java classes. So I'll have to complete the core Java in that particular time duration, but I will be taking some good examples. Don't worry about that. Arvind is asking, sir, will you be covering some coding questions which will be very helpful? Coding question as in? Coding questions like those Fibonacci, Armstrong, reversing a string, switching, moving all the zeros to the end of the array, like those things. Okay, Stanley, this is not the, this is a fresh Java batch. Yes, I will be providing good materials as well. Don't worry about that. So Stanley, if you, this is not the class that you are attending. This is a new Java batch. Your Java sessions has been moved to 8 a.m. IST. Just contact to Rahul Arora for that. This is a new batch that I'm starting. Okay, good. So guys, let me start the topics now. And the best, you told us about the video. Yes, I will be sharing the YouTube channel link. Don't worry about that. Tomorrow I'll be sharing it with you guys. So you can join the sessions tomorrow, the existing one, and I'll be sharing that to you. Okay. So let me start the topics now. So let me first write you what I am going to cover in Java. So basics of Java, in that the for loop, if else, operators, creating class, creating object, those things will be covered. Then arrays topic will be covered. Oops will be covered. In the oops, every important concept I will be covering. So don't worry about that. Then I will be covering collection, string handling, file handling, handling. These are the things that I'll be covering this class. So these are the minimum thing that you must know. File handling, basically Excel, read and write. This is the thing that I'll be covering. It's not in exception handling, sorry, in file handling. Collection is must thing, so we'll be covering. Yes, polymorphism. In OOPS concept, everything will be covered. Polymorphism, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, abstract class, interface, super keyword, this keyword, constructor. Everything will be covered in the OOPS concept. Okay. Enums, no, I'm not going to cover enums. I'm not going to cover enums. Enums generics are, some topics which I don't cover in the class, but I can help you on those things. So you can contact me, or I'll be sharing the study material for these things. Don't worry about that. Okay, cool. So let me start today's session. Okay, let me start today's session. So yes, Shiva, enums and generics are important. I understand it, but in our course content, that those topics are not included. I can provide you the videos for those things, a detailed video on generics and enums, so don't worry about it. Okay, so today in the first lecture, okay, in the first lecture, what we are going to cover is not, we are not going to cover very complex things today. We will start with simple things. We'll go step by step, because many of you are new to the programming language, mostly in Java. Many of you might be new to the Java thing. So we'll cover today how to create a source file, how to create class, how to compile a file, how to run a file, source file, declaration, rule, and the main method, and how to execute or run the class. These are the things that I will be covering. Okay, these are the things that I'll be covering. Okay, so I hope if you are very new to Java, still I hope you guys know that Java is a high level platform independent language. Okay, so basically Java is a high level platform independent language, and it works on the principle of OOPS, object oriented programming language. It works on OOPS concept. Now what is high level language? High level language is normal English like language which is written in English. Like all the programming language right now we have, most of the programming languages are high level language, like be it Java, C Sharp, Python, Golang, there are Ruby, Perl, all those are nothing but high level language where you write the code in normal English like language, which is easy to read, easy to learn, and easy to implement. Then do you guys have any idea about platform independent language? Why we say that Java is platform independent? Why we say that Java is platform independent? Any idea about platform independence of Java? No dependency, I think. Okay, so platform independent means independence means independent from the platform, and platform here means operating systems. When I say platform, I'm talking about operating system, OS. So basically the best part about Java is it does not matter in which operating system you are writing the code and in which operating system you are running your code. It does not matter. What I'm trying to say, let's say you write your code in Windows based operating system. You compile the code in Windows operating system. But then you can run your code in Linux machine without doing any changes. You'll not have to do any changes. Now, if you guys are working in an IT company, most of the servers, mostly the production servers are nothing but Linux based operating system. Mostly in productions, we use Linux based operating system, isn't it? So, and many times you would have seen that the developers are using Windows based machine, or somebody will have Linux based machine, somebody will have Mac with them. They all are doing their stuffs independently, and then they are merging all of their codes into a single location, and then they are pushing the same code to the production environment. So the best part about Java is that you don't have to do any changes. It is platform independent, operating system independent. Does not matter in which operating system you are writing the code or running the code, you will not have to do any changes. The only requirement that is there is that in your operating system, in your machine, in your system, you should have JDK installed. You should have JDK installed. Now Gaurav is asking, is necessary recompile Java file on Linux? Again, not at all. I have told you that when you write your code on any operating system, you compile your code on any operating system, when you go for executing the same class, you will not have to recompile it again. It happens automatically. Clear? Okay. The only prerequisite that you have is you should have JDK installed in your system. You'll have to install Java on your machine. Okay. So let us see how we can install Java on our machine. Because I'm using a Windows based machine, I will be showing you how you can install Java on a Windows operating system based machine. But for Mac and for Linux, guys, if you are using Mac or Linux, I will be providing you, Rahul Arora will be providing you, videos for that, and you can go, follow those videos, and you can install JDK on your Mac or in Linux by just following those simple steps. Okay, so right now I'm just going to tell you how you can install JDK on your Windows based application, sorry, system. Clear? So for that, what you'll have to do is you will have to go to Google and search for JDK 1.8 or whatever version you want to use. I'm using, I more, I prefer to use 1.8. So I'm saying JDK 1.8 download. You will be navigating to this Oracle site, go to this site, and then you see Java SE development kit. And one more section you will see here, which is Java SE development kit demos and samples. So don't download the demos and sample package. Go to this Java SE development kit section, and based on your machine, you'll have to download the appropriate package. Like my system is a 64-bit Windows based operating system. So I will be downloading this exe file. Okay, I'll just click on this exe file and it will get downloaded. Or it might be possible that Oracle will ask you to log in into your account. It sometimes happens that when you try to download the exe file for a particular operating system, Oracle site will ask you to log in. So if you have not created any account, better is to create an account first. So let me show you how you can do that. So because I am using a 64-bit Windows operating system, I will be clicking on this exe file. Now, as soon as I click on this, it will ask me to, accept the terms and conditions. And then I will have to click on this download JDK button. So it will navigate me to the login page first of all. Just a minute. I don't know why this is not happening. I think the site is down as of now. Yeah. So you will see that Oracle is taking me to the login page. Just wait for it. Okay. So Oracle is asking me to either log in if I have any account already available, or I have to create a new account. So it is a one-time step that you'll have to do. If you have already created account on Oracle site, then you can just log in, or simply click on this create account, and you'll have to create an account here, which is completely free of cost. You'll not have to pay anything, and Java still is free of cost. Okay, so this I hope you will be able to do. Okay, just create your account by filling up these details, and then once you have logged in, your exe file will automatically get downloaded. Clear? Is this process clear to everyone? Hello? Yes? No? Okay, cool. Yes. So once the exe file has been downloaded, let me show you just a minute. Just a minute. Uh, yeah, so something like this, you will see a jar file, not jar file, just a minute. Let me download it for you so that you can see here. I have an account available. Let me see if it is working or not. So basically, a exe file will get downloaded, and as you install any normal software, you will just have to double click on the exe file, click on next, next, next for everything, and you will be able to, install it. That is not a complex process. Okay, so it will take some time, so don't worry about it. So I hope this process is clear. Look, so you can see the exe file is getting downloaded. It will take some time. So I'm not going to install it anywhere because I already have 1.8 already available on my machine. The only thing that you'll have to do is, you know, you once the exe file is downloaded, you'll just have to double click on the exe file and install the software like a normal software. You'll not have to do anything else. Just click on next, 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 confirm everything, and the Java will get installed on your machine. Is that clear? Clear, guys? Okay. Now, once the Java is installed on your system, remember one thing, Java will get installed on your C drive. Now, in C drive, you will see program files. And in the program files, you will see this Java folder. Now, if this Java folder is visible to you, which means the Java has been installed in your machine. So Java will always get installed on C drive. Okay. Now, if I go inside this Java folder, you will see JDK 1.8 and JRE 1.8. So the important thing is JDK, and you should have JDK available on your machine. Okay. Okay, so once you have installed Java, you will get both JDK and JRE. Don't see about this JDK 12. I am using JDK 12 as well, but you right now should focus on JDK 1.8. So once Java is installed on your machine, you will see only these two folders. If you are installing Java 1.8, then inside Java folder, you will see only two folders, JDK 1.8 and JRE 1.8. This JDK 12, I have copied it separately. You will not see Java 12, JDK 12 here. You will only see JDK 1.8 and JRE 1.8. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Okay. Now, do you guys know the difference between JRE and JDK? Any idea about JDK and JRE? Any idea? Anybody who here who don't have any idea about JDK and JRE? Don't be hesitate. Don't hesitate. Okay. So basically, just let me tell you, JDK and JRE. So basically, JDK is nothing but Java Development Kit, and JRE is nothing but Java Runtime Environment. Now let me tell you the difference at a high level. In IT industry, whenever we work on any project, we have two different teams. One is the development team and another one is the client, isn't it? This is how the projects get created. Client will be telling us the requirement, specifications, and development teams implement those requirements and implementation specifications, isn't it? Yes, this is how the thing happens. Your client will tell you the requirement, you as a development team will implement those requirements. Fine. Now, if your job is to write the code, compile the code, and run the code, means as a developer, when I'm saying as a developer, I'm talking about both developers as well as the QA team who will be automating the application for testing purpose. So if you want to write, compile, and run the program that you have written, you must have JDK available on your machine. If you want to write, compile, and run, be it you are a developer or you are an automation engineer, you must have JDK available on your machine. If you don't have JDK available on your machine, you will not be able to write or compile the program, because JRE is used only for execution. JRE is used only for execution. But before execution, you need compiler to compile the program, and you need debugger to debug your program. So before execution, writing and compiling comes. So for that, JDK is mandatory. Is that clear? If you are just a client, like on production machine, do we compile a program on production machine, or do we write the program in production machine? No. At client end, we just run the program, isn't it? At client end, we just run the program, isn't it? What do you say? We only run the program on production, isn't it? So if you are just a client, if you just want to run your program, if you just want to execute the program, then if you have only JRE, then it is fine. But if you want to do everything, you want to write, you want to compile, then you want to run, then you should have JDK available on your machine. As an automation tester, you should install JDK. And anyway, whenever you will be installing Java on your machine, you will get both JDK and JRE on your machine. Clear? That clear? Any questions here? Any questions? Please confirm. No questions? Fine. Okay. So Atul is asking, if we have only JDK, then I don't need JRE. JDK already contains JRE. Let me show you. Let me show you. Now, if you go to JDK folder, can you see JRE folder available? JRE folder, can you see JRE folder? So when you download JDK, JRE will automatically come, because understand, everything has importance. Without JDK, you cannot write or compile, but without JRE, you cannot run the program, because execution is a responsibility of JRE. JRE is responsible for the execution. That also is required. You cannot say that JRE is not required. JRE is required, but if you have only JRE, you don't have other things, you have only JRE on your machine, then you will not be able to write or compile the program. So that's why I'm saying install JDK. If you have installed JDK on your machine, you will get JRE as well, you will get compiler, you will get debugger, and you will get all the jar files whose classes you are going to use in your coding part. Is that clear? Cool. But this is not done yet. You'll have to do some other configurations as well, some other settings as well. Now, what those settings are, once you have installed JDK on your machine, Gaurav, are you asking any question? Gaurav is asking how to operate two JDK at same machine. What it is used? No, we cannot operate on two JDKs at the same time. You will be using only one JDK at a time. Okay. You will be using only one JDK at a time. You'll have to switch between the JDK if you want to use, different JDKs. Okay. So I'll tell you how to do that. So once you have installed the Java on your machine, come inside the JDK folder. Like right now, I'm inside my JDK folder. Click on the address bar and copy the path where the JDK folder has been created. So this is the path. My JDK is inside Java folder. My Java folder is inside program files, and my program files is inside C drive. So I'm going to copy this path. I have copied this path. Then I will right click on this PC and I will say properties. Now inside properties, I will go to advanced system settings. Inside advanced system settings, I will go to advanced, and you will see this environment variables. Click on this environment variables. Now you will see two sections here. One is user variables for Dell and system variables. Now inside system variables, you will have to create a new variable, and in that variable, you'll have to set the path of the JDK folder that you have installed. Inside system variables, you'll have to do it. So how we can do that? So inside system variables, you will see this new button. Click on this new button. And you will see two things here. One is variable name and variable value. So variable name must be Java underscore home. Everything in caps is mandatory. Exactly this should be the name of the variable. Exactly this. Java underscore home, every character in capital letter. Clear? And in the variable value, you'll just push, just paste the path of the JDK folder and say OK. Click on OK button. I already have this variable available in my system variable, so I'm not going to create a duplicate variable. But if you're doing this for the very first time, this is what you'll have to do. Inside the system variable, click on new button. Inside variable name, write Java underscore home, everything in caps, nothing in small. And in the variable value, you'll have to paste the path of the JDK folder and you'll have to say OK. So you will see something like this appearing here in the system variables. Till now, anybody have any doubt? How we can use another version of Java? I will come to you. Don't worry about that. I will come to that question. Don't worry about it. Atul is saying Java underscore home name can be changed. No, you should have. This should be exactly this name should be. This is prescribed in the documentation of Java. Even whether you are using Linux or Mac or Windows, the variable name will always be Java underscore home. This is prescribed in the documentation. We will come to the need, Swati, don't worry about that. But first of all, understand how to do it. Then we'll come that why it is required. Okay. Till now, anybody have any doubt? Anybody have any other doubt? No? Fine. Now, after doing this, you'll have to do one more change. What you'll have to do, scroll down and you will see a path variable. Can you see this variable with name path? Can we see the path variable here? Yes. So click on the path variable and say edit. Edit. And when you see this environment variable edit window, click on new. You will see a new entry text box appears for you. Type percentage, the variable name that you created, just Java underscore home, again percentage, backslash bin. This is what you'll have to do in the path variable. You will have to add a new variable in the path variable, and after doing this, you will have to click on OK button. Okay, any questions here? But I already have done it. You can see I already have done it. So I'm not going to create a duplicate variable in the path variable, but this entry you'll have to do in the path variable. Percentage Java underscore home percentage backslash bin. You will have to do this in the path variable. Is that clear? Cool. Now, what is the purpose of this? Why we do this? Okay. What is the need of it? Fine. Let us do this. Let us discuss this. Forget about Java for programming language. If you remember this correctly, you must have experienced that whenever you buy a new laptop or a new machine or new system, you must have seen that when you start running a program, you must have seen that you have been asked to install Java on your machine. I'm not talking about JDK. I'm talking about that many times you would have seen that you are trying to run a program on web itself, on website, on some website, and that website is asking you to install Java first, then only you will be able to use it. Have you ever experienced it? You must have. Yes, no, yes. So let's say you install Java at that time. Then you thought of learning Java as a programming language. Now, if you want to learn programming language, you'll have to use JDK on your machine as we are doing here. So you again installed one more Java on your machine. So you have two different versions of Java. Right now, let's say right now I have installed JDK 1.8. Now after a few years, let's say after 6 months or after 1 year, when I'm comfortable with Java, I thought of using the latest version of Java, which is Java 1.4 14 or 15, I believe. So you install, let's say you install Java 14 also. Now you have three different Java versions available on your machine. Fine. Now you will be using some ID, like you will be using Eclipse for writing your code. Okay, you will be using Eclipse. Now let's say whenever you open application like Eclipse is a Java based application. What I'm trying to say is Eclipse is an application built using Java programming language. Whenever you try to start Eclipse on your machine, if you have not set the path of, or if you don't have Java available on your machine, you will never be able to open Eclipse at all, because Eclipse like application needs Java on your machine. Now let's say you install three different versions of Java and you are trying to start Eclipse on your machine. Now how the Eclipse will come to know that which version of Java to use? And the same examples, let me take one more example. Have you heard about JMeter? Have you guys have heard about JMeter? Have you guys have heard about JMeter? Yes, JMeter is a performance testing tool. Again, JMeter is also a Java based application, which what I'm trying to say is JMeter has been built using Java itself. If you try to start JMeter on your machine, and if you don't have Java installed on your machine, you will never be able to start JMeter, because JMeter also needs Java to be available on your machine. Then only you will be able to use JMeter. Now let's say you have 3 or 4 different versions of Java and you are trying to start JMeter on your machine. How the JMeter will come to know that which version of Java to be used? Ambiguity will come, confusion will come. So to make sure that globally on your machine, whatever application needs Java to be available and they want to know that which version of Java to use, to make that recognized globally on your machine, we do this. We set the path of the JDK folder on your system variables. That is the purpose. So that any application which needs Java to be available on your machine, those application will use that version of Java for which you have set the path. What I'm trying to say is, right now I am inside Java underscore home. I have set the path of JDK for 1.8. So whenever I'll be using Java, I will be using Java 1.8. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, do you understand the purpose of it? Nawaz is asking that that's why it gets module path exception. I'm right? Yes, of course. You will get exception of module path if the Java is not available. Okay, so that's why it is important to do it, and you'll have to do it. Otherwise, you'll not be able to use Java anyway. Okay, so make sure that you set the path. And after doing this, two things again I'm repeating you. You'll have to create a new variable with name Java underscore home, and the value should be the path of the JDK folder. Once you have created the variable, you will have to navigate to the path variable, click on edit and click on new, and you'll have to add percentage Java underscore home percentage backslash bin and say OK. This is what you'll have to do, and again say OK. Now once you have done, you'll have to confirm whether Java has been installed properly or not. And to make sure that the Java has been installed properly, what you'll have to do is open the command prompt. I'm opening the command prompt and just type Java space hyphen version. If you see the version which you have installed right now, which means Java has been installed successfully. But to reconfirm, type Java C space hyphen version and try to get the version of Java compiler as well. So I'm able to get the Java version as well as the Java compiler version as well. And both versions are same, but make sure that you see the versions when you are typing Java space hyphen version, and when you are typing Java space Java C space version, then also you should see the version of your Java compiler. Is that fine? Clear? Okay. So these are the steps, prerequisite thing that you'll have to do. I hope I am able to make you guys understand that how to do it. Again, I'm repeating it again for those guys who are using Mac or Linux based operating system. Rahul Arora will be providing you videos which you can follow to do the same thing. The approach that I've told you right now is for Windows system. Clear? Clear? Okay, so now once you have understand, let us try to see how to create a class, how to create a source file. Okay. Jash is asking, can we have different version of Java and Java C? Yes, you can do that, but better is to use the same version. Okay. Because with latest version, Java compiler will have few new rules and you are using previous version of Java library. So it might create issue for you. Okay. It might create issue for you. So better is to have same version of Java and Java compiler. Atul is asking, please tell why percentage Java underscore home slash bin is required if we have already set the path. Now, why that is required? Because actually the path of the bin folder is required to be set in the, path for variable. But instead of hard coding the complete path, we create a variable. And let's say in future, let me go back to the same thing. Okay, again, come back to this. Let's say after few months, you install Java 12 on your machine. So if you want to use Java 12 on your machine, you'll have to update the path of the GTK folder in system variables, yes or no? Yes. Now there are two options. Either you can paste the complete path of the bin folder directly in the path variable, but that will become hard coded. Now why we create variable? We set the variable and then we use the same variable in the path variable, because path variable is a very critical variable available in your system. If you do anything wrong in path variable, your system might get crashed completely. So it is recommended that don't touch the path variable again and again. Update the variable for latest version instead of going to the path variable again and doing the same changes there. That's why it is important. Understood, Atul? Yes, if you want to change the new, if you want to update to newer version, instead of going to a path variable, just update the value of the Java underscore home variable, and you will not have to do anything in the path variable. Okay. Shweta is saying Java C hyphen V. Don't say hyphen V, say type Java C space hyphen version. Try to do this Java C space hyphen version. It should work. Okay, now coming to the file types in Java. Okay, can you guys tell me where do we write our Java code? Where do we write our code in Java? Shweta, we can discuss it at the end. Okay. It might be possible that you have installed some wrong version. So just wait for the class to get over and then we'll discuss it. Okay. So I asked that where do we write our code? Few are saying in Eclipse, few are saying in Notepad, few are saying SAS. Basically, we write our code in file, isn't it? Eclipse ID is just an ID, but first of all, we create file, isn't it? We create file and then in the file we write the code, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Now, in which type of file do we write our Java file code? Okay. Can you tell me what is the extension of PDF file? Can you guys tell me what is the extension of your PDF file? .pdf, isn't it? What is the extension of Word document? If you are creating a Word document, what will be the extension of that file? .doc. What will be the extension of an Excel file? .xlss. What is the generally what is the extension of an image? .jpg or .jpeg, isn't it? Isn't it? .png is also there. .png, .jpg, .jpeg. Nowadays we have .gif and so many other type of files. Similarly, when we create our program, when we write our program, we store that program, we save that program in a file, and the extension of that file must be .java. Remember one thing, we always save our Java code in a file, and the type of the file or the extension of that file must be .java, and that file is known as source file. Source file, we call that as source file. File having .java extension. Is that clear? Whenever we create our file where we write our code, when we save that file, the extension of that file should be .java file, and we call that as source file. Okay, guys, I'm getting an important call. Can you allow me 2 minutes, please? Okay, be on hold. I'm muting myself right now. Give me 2 minutes. I'm getting an important call. Okay, guys. So yes, so I was saying that we write our code in a file of extension .java, and we call that as source file. Okay, and in the source file we create classes. In the class we create methods, we create variables, and so many things we do. Okay, but first we create source file. Now in source file we write our code in high level language. High level language means normal English language. Although there will be syntaxes, but we use high level language. This is what we do. Then after writing our code, the next step is to compile the file, compile the source file using compiler. Now, once you compile your source file, now the source file will be saved with extension .java, Java file. We either call it as source file or we call it as Java file. Now, after you are done with writing your code, whatever you are supposed to do, next thing that you do is you compile the source file. Now source file will be in the .java format. When you compile it, after compiling your source file, you will get .class file. .class file. What will you get? dot class file. Remember one thing, the dot class file will contain byte codes. Byte codes. Now another type of file has been introduced here, which is dot class file. Now dot class file is another type of file which you see in Java, and you will get the dot class file after compiling the dot Java file. So in Java, when you compile the dot Java file, you will get dot class file. Is that clear? Is that clear? When you compile a dot Java file, you will get a dot class file. Dot Java file contains high level language, means code in English, but dot class file contains byte codes and you cannot read byte codes. I will show you. I will open a dot class file, but you will not be able to understand anything. You will not be able to understand because byte codes are not human readable form. And then after the compiling the file, then you execute the dot class file. You execute the dot class file. And who is responsible for executing the dot class file? JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine is responsible for executing the dot class file. Now, if somebody asks you that, okay, tell me one thing. In Java, do we execute the dot Java file or we execute the dot class file? So your answer should be that in Java, we run the dot class file. You cannot run dot Java file directly. JVM does not understand dot Java file. JVM does not has capability to read dot Java file. JVM, which is responsible for executing this code, can read only dot class file. So I will show you in Eclipse also. You run the dot Java file, but internally the dot class file will be executed. I will show you all those things. Don't worry about that. Clear? So basically, remember one thing. In Java, you will have two types of files. What are those two types? What are those two types? One will be, the first file will be source file where we write our code, and next thing will be dot class file. These are the only two type of files which you will be dealing with. Clear? Clear? Any questions? Please ask. Atul, yes, your statement is correct. You can write your code in Notepad, Notepad Plus, or in Eclipse, and then you save with .java extension. So I will be showing those things to you. Anything till now? Anybody have any questions? Please ask. Anybody wants to ask? What is JVM? Okay. What is JVM? Good question. The full form for JVM is Java Virtual Machine. Now, Java Virtual Machine is a part of JRE. JVM is a part of JRE. JVM, which is available inside JRE, has the responsibility to execute your code. So whatever happens at the execution time, when you run your program, whatever happens, the output you get, the memory allocation that happens for the variables, for the classes, for the methods, everything is handled by JVM. So do we require JVM on production machine? Of course you need it. Without JVM, you cannot run your program, and JVM comes along with JRE. So you need not to install JVM separately. You will get JVM inside JRE. And as I've told you, JRE will already be there in the JDK. So when you install JDK, you get JRE compiler, you get debugger, you get JRE, and inside JRE, you get JVM, which is who is responsible for execution. Is that clear? Arvina is saying JV is a part of JDK. Then yes, you can say that, but directly JVM is a part of JRE and JRE is a part of JDK. JVM comes inside JRE and JRE comes inside JDK. Is that fine now? Cool. So shall I start creating the codes now? Do you want to see how to create source file, how to create a class, what are the source file declaration rules? Let's do that instead of going everything theoretically. let's try to see the practical stuff now. So today I'm not going to use Eclipse. Probably I'm not going to use today Eclipse. Okay, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder for this class. Inside the folder I will create source file, and I will be writing the code using Notepad++. I will be compiling the source file using command prompt. I will be running the code using command prompt, so that you at least know how to compile a file or how to run a file, a Java code using command prompt. And from tomorrow classes, from next sessions, we will be using Eclipse in the class. Is that fine with everyone? Cool. So what I'm going to do is, let me let me create a new folder first. Okay, so in this folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file, new text document. So is this a source file? First of all, tell me, is this a source file? Yes or no? Atul is saying no. Arvina is saying no. What about others? This is a text file. Of course, this is a text file. Why? Because if I show you the property, the extension of this file is .txt, and .txt is not a source file. The source file must have which extension? .java extension. Exactly. So what I'm going to do is, let me open this. So I will open it in a Notepad++ or Notepad, whatever you want to use. Let's say Notepad right now. And let me create a class here. Okay. Now what is class? Anybody have any doubt? What is class? Anybody here who don't know what is class? Anybody here who don't know what is class? Don't hesitate. Don't think about others. It does not matter. In IT industry, you are all alone. Okay. Code inside the class. Okay. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to explain. Okay. Although I will cover code, class and objects again, but at a high level, let me tell you. What is OOPS concept? What is object oriented programming language? Any idea? What is object oriented programming language? Any idea what is object oriented programming language? Why we say that Java is an object oriented programming language? Why we say that? Because in Java you can store data in the form of objects, because you can perform functionality through objects, because in Java different objects can behave differently. So here in Java, the actions, the data are stored on the basis of object, and that's why we call it as object oriented programming language. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. So what I was trying to say is, okay. So in Java, whatever you do, you first have to create class. And whatever code you will be writing, everything should come inside class. Now, what exactly is class? Why do we create class? What is the purpose of class? We will cover it detail in next sessions, in tomorrow sessions. But as of now, for today, understand one thing, that whatever line of code you will be writing in Java, everything should be inside class. Is that clear? Is that clear? I will be covering the purpose tomorrow again. But is that clear? Everything should come inside class only. Whether you are creating variable, whether you will be creating objects, whether you will be creating methods, everything should be put inside the class only. Outside the class, you cannot do anything. Clear? Now, how to create a class? That is what we can learn today. Very simple. How to create a class? Okay. Now understand one thing. In Java, to create anything, whether you are creating class, whether you are creating object, whether you will be creating methods, variables, everything has a set of rules which we call as syntax. Everything which you will be creating for that syntax has been defined. Now, what is syntax? What is syntax? Any idea what is syntax? What do you mean by syntax? What do we mean by syntax? Anybody? No idea? Okay. Syntax is nothing but grammar. Every language does have a grammar, isn't it? Forget about programming language. Be it is a speaking language like English, French, Chinese, Spanish, any language you know or speak. Every language does have a set of rules which we call as grammar, isn't it? Yes, in India we speak Hindi, we speak Tamil, we speak Kannada, we speak so many languages we speak in India. Every language does have a grammar. Similarly, programming languages also have grammar, which we call in technical language we call them as syntax. Syntax, is that clear? Syntax is nothing but set of grammars defined in that particular programming language. Every programming language does have a set of rules, set of grammars, which we call as syntax. You'll have to follow the syntax. You can never you know you know uh, you know skip any of the syntax. You'll have to, whatever line of code you are writing, your line of code, your codes should be correct as per the syntax. If any of the code that you have written is not correct as per the syntax, you will get error or exceptions at the compile time. Compiler will not allow to be compile any code which is not syntax as per the syntax. Is that clear? Is that clear? So whether you will be creating class, package, you know, uh, you know, variables, methods, everything should follow the proper syntax. Clear? Is that clear? Okay, so let me create a class for you guys. So if you want to create a class, let me do one thing. If you want to create a class in Java, first of all, you'll have to use keyword class. Which keyword you'll have to use? Class keyword. This keyword tells you that, okay, you are going to create a class. This represents that you are going to create a class. Then space and the name of the class which you want to create. Let's say the class I want to create is test. Okay. Atul is asking what is compiler? Compiler is a software which compiles your .java file, and the main functionality of compiler is to check the syntax of the code that you have written in the .java file, and if the syntax of your code is correct, then the compiler will create a .class file out of the .java file. Is that clear, Atul? So the main purpose of compiler is to check the syntax of your code and create a .class file of your source file. Is that clear? Then what about JVM? JVM is responsible for executing the .class file. But before JVM executes the .class file, you first need the .class file, compiled file. Clear? Is that clear, Atul? Okay. Gaurav is asking difference between compiler and interpreter. The job of compiler is to compile the code, check the syntax of the code, and create the .class file. That is the job of compiler. The job of compiler interpreter is to execute the code. So basically, again, inside JVM, there is a component available interpreter, which executes the code line by line. So when I will start executing the code, I will tell you how the interpreter works. Is that clear? Okay, Arvina is asking, compiler only checks the syntax. Of course, compilers check the syntax and it creates the dot class file, nothing else. Okay, cool. So how to create a class? Very simple. First use the keyword class, then space, then provide the name of the class, followed by open and closing curly braces. That's it. This is a class. This is a class. Class test open curly braces, and within this class body, the open curly braces, you will have to write your complete code. Whatever code you want to write inside this test class, that code should be inside the closing open and closing curly braces, which we call as class body. Clear? Is that clear? Curly braces are mandatory. Of course, curly braces are mandatory. Without curly braces, how will you define the body of the class? Okay, so this is mandatory. If you don't have the curly braces, you will get compile time error. You will get exception when you will try to compile the source file. Clear? Fine. Okay, and for now, before the class, use public keyword as well. Now don't ask me what is public keyword as of now. At a high level, let me tell you. Public is an access modifier in Java. Access modifiers are some keywords which defines the accessibility of that particular Java component. Like when I'm saying Java component, I'm talking about Java class, Java variables, methods, interface, packages, and all those things. Now, whenever you create any of the Java component, whether you are creating class, variables, methods, and so many other things you will be creating, all the Java components, you'll have to define the accessibility, that wherever you can access it. Now, accessibility of any Java component is described using access modifier. And in Java, we have 4 access modifier: public, protected, private, and one more is there, default. But we don't use default access modifier explicitly. It is applied implicitly on any Java component. Right now, I'm not going to cover these access modifier in detail. We will cover these access modifier at the starting of the OOPS concept. But as of now, just mug up one thing, just understand one thing, that whenever you will be creating any class, you should make that class public. Is that clear? Anything which is public can be accessed anywhere. Anything which is public is a public property. Like in real life, the public transport. Public transport can be used by anyone whosoever pays for the service. They can use the public transport, yes or no? The airlines, you can use any of the airline if you pay for the service. The trains that you have, the metro rails you have, anyone can use the metro if you pay for the service. But your car, can everyone use your car? Can everyone use your mobile? What do you say? Everybody cannot use your mobile. Everybody cannot use car because those are private property. Those don't have accessibility to the complete public. Similarly, in Java, whenever you create class, variables, methods, you can define the accessibility level of that particular Java component. And in order to, this is done for security purpose, to increase the security feature of your application. We provide the accessibility limit. We define the accessibility limit for every Java component. Okay. Now, how do we define it? We define the accessibility of any component by using the access modifier, by using public, private, protected, and default. But with class, you can use only public or the class can be default. In Java, a class can never be private. In Java, a class can never be protected. If you try to make a class private, if you try to make a class protected, you will get compile time exception, which I will show you today only. Is that clear? Any questions here, please ask. Any questions? No questions? So what I'm going to do is, whenever I'll be creating class, I will be making that public so that it can be used anywhere. Now Nawaz is asking, what about inner class? Inner class can be private protected because inner class are nothing but part of the class. We can do that, but the main class cannot be private or protected. Okay, Nawaz? Fine. Okay. Arvind is asking, can we create multiple classes in a source file? We will show you, don't worry. Yes, we can create, and I will create today only, but just allow me 5 minutes for that. Clear? Cool. So this right now is a text file where I have created a class having name test. This test class is a public class, means you can use or access it from anywhere, from any class, from any package, and so on. Now, in order to convert this text document in a source file, I will have to save this file. I will save it as, I will say save as .java. What should be the name of this file? The extension is .java, fine. But what should be the name of this file? What should be the name of this file? What should be the name of the file? What should be the name of the file? It should be test.java. It should be test.java. Why it should be test.java? I will tell you, just allow me 5 minutes. But this is how you create a source file. The name of the source file, then .java is the extension. So in this source file, the name of the source file is test.java. Is that clear? And then I'll have to say save. And if I go back to the folder now, if I go back to the folder now, do you see any Java document here? Do you see any Java file now? Do you see any Java file now? Fine. Good. You can see there is a test.java file. This is a Java file. This is your source file. If I open this, now this is a source file. Now we can compile this source file. We can write our code inside this class because now this file is a Java file. You see here type, in the type you can see it says Java file. Okay, so let me remove this text document. Let me have only Java file here. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Now coming again back to this .java file. One thing I told you guys, that name of this file should be test only. Name of this source file should be test.java only. Is there any specific reason why I told this? What do you think? Yes, there is a reason. Understand it. First of all, understand one important thing. How many class can we create in a source file? How many class can we create in a source file? Tell me. How many class can we create in a source file? What do you think? N number of classes. Any number of classes we can create. Okay, we can create any number of class. There is no restriction for it. Okay, let me create few more here. Let me create few more here, like class, let's say sample. Now tell me how many classes are there in this source file? Two. Okay. Let me create one more. Let's say I'm saying class home. Now tell me how many classes are there? Three classes? Three classes? isn't it? 3 class we have. Okay. Can I make every class public here? Can I make every class public here? Can I make every class public here? No, we cannot make every class public in a source file. So there are few rules that you'll have to remember when you create a source file. There are some rules that you'll have to remember. Rule number one. Rule number one. Rule number one. You can create n number of classes in a source file. You can create n number of classes in a source file. You can create n number of classes in a source file. This was rule number one. Rule number two. Rule number two. Shiva is asking, what do you mean by source file? Come on, Shiva. When did you join? Did you join from the starting? Yes. So I have been using this word since the starting. Source file means .java file. The file where you write your source code. The file where you write your source code, and in Java we write our code in .java file and we call the .java file as our source file. So this document, this .java file is a source file for me. Clear? Okay. So rule number one is you can create n number of classes in a source file, in a .java file. Fine. Rule number two, you can have only one public class in a .java file. You can have only one public class in a source file. Maximum only one public class can be there in a source file. This is very important rule that I'm telling you. There can be only one public class in a source file. Is that clear? Is that clear? In a single source file, you can have only one public class. Is that clear? This was rule number two. Rule number three. Rule number three. If you have a public class in the source file, yes, Nawaz, only one public class you can have. If you have more than one public class in a source file, at the time of compilation, you will get error. Okay, I will show you. Don't worry about that. Rule number three, if in a source file, if in a .java file, if you have any public class, if in a source file, if you have any public class, then the name of the source file must be exactly same of the public class. Let me repeat it again. If you have if in a source file public class is there, then the name of the source file must be same as of the public class. Like in this source file, do we have any public class available? In this source file as of now, do we have any public class? Yes, we do have. What is the name of that public class? Test. So because we have a public class and the name of that public class is test, this means that the name of the source file must be test only. It must be test only. Let me repeat the rule number three again. If you have a public class in the source file, then the name of the source file must be same as of the public class. Like right now, if you see this example, in this .java file, I have three classes: test, sample, and home. Fine. And the test class is public. So because the test class is public, the name of the source file must be test.java. If you keep any other name to this source file, you will immediately get compile time error at that particular time. Is that clear? Is that clear? Got it? Fine. This was rule number three. Rule number four. Rule number four, that it is not mandatory that you should have public class in a source file. You can create a source file without having any public class. You can create a source file without having any public class. Having public class is not a mandatory thing. It is optional. If you want to have public class, that is fine. But if you don't have any public class, that is also fine. There is no problem in that. There is no rule defined in Java that in a source file there must be one public class. That is not mandatory. It's completely optional. It's up to you. If you want to have a public class, have it. If you don't want to have any public class, then don't have. It's optional completely. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Rule number 5, the last point. If you don't have any public class in the source file, if you don't have any public class in the source file, if you don't have any public class in the source file, then the name of the source file can be anything. Then the name of the source file can be anything. Then there is no restriction. Then you are free to provide any name to the source file. If you don't have any public class in the source file, then the name of the source file can be anything. Is that clear? Is that clear? Any questions, please ask before I demonstrate you the same thing that I have discussed right now. No questions? Okay. Jash is asking, can we have two classes with same name in a file? No, not possible. Duplicate classes are not allowed. In a source file, every class name should be unique. Every class name should be unique. Okay. Shweta is asking anything as in class name presents in the file or anything. Anything. I will show you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. When you don't mention public, it becomes default, of course. Remember one thing, if you do not use public, then that class will automatically become a default class. Swati is asking why there is a need of saving a class with name of the public class. That is the rule. I don't know about it. That is a rule. That is a syntax. Okay, Swati, to be honest, I don't know why this is the rule, but this is what they have made a rule of. Okay, if you have a public class, then the name of the source file should be same as of the public class. Alvira is asking one thing, if in a source file public class is not there, then do we need to save the file with any class name or we can give any name? We can give any name. We can give any name. Divya is asking, please explain rule number 3, system was disconnected. I will explain it again through the examples. Don't worry about that. Okay, so let us go one by one. Let us go one by one. Atul, let me show you the demonstration practical approach. Then you will understand when I'm saying any name, what exactly I mean about any name. Clear? Okay, so let me go one by one. First of all, as of now, in this source file, I have 3 classes. Only one class is public, and the name of the source file is matching to the name of the public class. Now, by looking into this code, what do you think? Is this a valid source file? Yes or no? On the basis of the rules that we have discussed just now, what do you think? Is this a valid source file? Yes or no? Diana is saying yes. Shiva is saying yes. Nawaz is saying yes. Okay, so let us try to compile it now. Now, how to compile this source file is very simple. Okay, open the command prompt on your machine and go to the directory where you have saved your .java file. Okay, so right now my .java file is available inside this jan_2021 folder, which is available in the workspace folder, which is available in the D drive. So I'm going to open my command prompt directly to this directory. So I'll just say cmd, and you can see my command prompt is pointing to the same folder where I've kept my .java file. And now let us try to compile it. So the command to compile a .java file is javac space name of the source file with extension. Now the name of my source file as of now is test.java. This is the command to compile a source file. Javac stands for Java compiler space name of the source file with extension. Basically, you are trying to say the compiler compile this test.java source file. So just type it and press the enter key. So if you don't get any exception, which means compilation process is complete. Did I get any exception here? Do we see any exception here? No, which means exception is complete successfully. Now, can you tell me what will you see in the folder because the compilation process is done? What new things will you see in the same folder? Class file. Class file must have been created, isn't it? How many class file? How many class file will you see? We have 3 classes in that source file. How many class file will you see? 1, 2, 3. How many? Few are saying 1, few are saying 3. Let us see how many class files are there. And you can see 3 different class files got created, not 1, 3. Okay, now before I tell you why we have 3 class files here, I want to ask you one thing. When I said javac test.java, did I compile test class or did I compile the source file? What did I compile here? Did I compile the test.java source file or just the test class? I compiled the complete source file. We compile the source file. We do not compile class. We compile the complete source file. Fine. How many classes were there in the source file? How many classes were there in the source file? 3. So remember one thing. When you compile a source file, for each and every class available in the source file, for each and every class available in the source file, a new .class file will get created. For every class available in the source file, a new .class file will get created. Is that fine? Is that fine? If you have 10 classes in a source file, after compilation, you will get 10 new .class file. If you have 100 classes in a source file, after compilation, 100 .class file will get created. Nawaz is asking, sir, if you skip public class test, it's still 3 class file will get created. Public does not have anything related to compilation. Public is a keyword which is used to make any Java component public so that it can be accessed from anywhere. Is that clear? Yes, yes, I have told na it is not mandatory to have at least one public class. That is not mandatory. I will show you that. Don't worry. Okay. So when we compiled it, we got 3 class file. And if you see the name of the class file, the name of the class file are, exactly same as of the class names available. Like if I show you again, for this test class, a class file got created with name test.class. For the second class, the .class file that got created has name sample.class. For third class, another .class file got created which has name home.class. Is that clear? He was asking why 3 class .class .class file got created because .class file contains code of a particular class. One .class file will contain code of a particular class. Like what I'm trying to say, test.class file will contain code only that you have written in this class. Sample class will contain code only the code that you have written inside sample class. Home.class will contain the codes only that you have written inside the home class. Is that clear? This is how Java is created. I cannot do anything in that. This is how Java works. Clear? For every class, separate .class file will get created. Is that clear? And the name of the dot class file will be exactly same as of the class. Means for this class, the dot class file that will get created will have name test dot class, for this sample dot class, and for this home dot class got created. Is that fine? Okay, fine. Now let me do one more thing. Let me remove this, delete these class files again. I want to do something here. Let me do one more thing. Let me try to have more than one public class. As per the rule, is this valid one or invalid? Whatever I have told you, as per that, what do you say? Is this a valid source file or invalid source file? What do you think? Because I have told you, as per the rule in Java, you can have only one public class. But here we have two public class. Let us try to see whether this is possible or not. So I'm again going to compile it. So I will again say Java C space test.java and see what happens. You are getting a compile time exception. So what is the exception? It says that in test.java at line number 7 there is an error. It says that class sample is public. It should be declared in the file name sample.java. This is nothing but the same rule that I have told you. First, you can have only one public class. If you have more than one public class, definitely you are going to get the compile time exception at runtime, sorry, at compile time, that you can see here. And rule number 3 that I have told you guys, that if you have a public class, then the name of that source file must be as of the public class. That rule is also justified here, yes or no? Because here in the error message you can read it says that class sample is public, should be declared in a file name sample.java. This means that maximum you can have only one public class, and if you have a public class available in the source file, then the name of the source file must be exactly same as of the public class. Is that clear? Anybody have any doubt? Please ask. Anybody have any doubt? Please ask, because this is very, very important. Arvind is asking, sir, is it mandatory that first class which is declared should be public, or we can make any of the class public? It does not, sequence does not matter in Java, no? Any of the class can be public, but only one class can be public. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Sure. So in this, as of now, anybody have any doubt? Please ask. Do you have any doubts as of now? Please ask. Okay. Now let me do one more mistake here. What is the name of the source file as of now? What is the name of the source file as of now? Test.java. Okay. Let me make sample class as public. Now, if sample class is public, what should be the name of the source file? If sample class is public, what should be the name of the source file as per the rule? It should be sample.java, isn't it? Isn't it? So let me do one thing. Let me not change the class source file name as of now. Let me have the source file name as test.java, but I have made sample as the public class. Let me try to compile this source file and let us see what happens. So I'm trying to compile Java C test.java and see what happens. Again, a compile time error. What is saying? It's saying that, look, sample class is public. The name of the source file should be sample.java. Clear? Are those rules making sound? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, so what is the solution? How we can resolve this problem? How we can resolve this exception? What do you say? Rename it. There are two options to resolve this issue. Either we rename the source file to sample.java, or we make the test class as public and sample class as default, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. So let me rename the source file to sample.java and let us see what happens. So I will rename this to sample. Let me try to compile it again. Now tell me, will this file will get compiled now? Yes or no? Will this source file will get compiled now? Yes or no? Atul is saying no. Why no? Why no? Because there is no test.java now, na? There is no file available in this directory with name test.java. Okay. So if you try to do so, you will get an error saying file not found. There is no file with name test.java. Cool. So let me say java c sample dot java. Try to compile it. Compilation is done. Now tell me how many class file will get created. How many class file will get created? How many class files? Come on guys, answer. 3. What will be the name of those class files? It will be test.class, sample.class, and third one should be home.class, which you can see here. Okay. Any doubts, please ask. Till now, anybody have any doubt, please ask. Anyone have any doubt, please ask. No doubts? Things are getting cleared? Cool. So let me try one more scenario here. Now again, let me delete all the files. I'm deleting all the .class file just to make sure that you understand everything. That's why. Okay, let me do one more thing. Let me remove the public. Right now I don't have any class public. There is no class which is public here in the source file. Now as per the rule which we have discussed, what do you say? Is this a valid or invalid source file? As per the source file declaration rule, what do you think? This is a valid or invalid? This is a valid source file. Of course, let me try to compile it. So I will say java c sample.java. Things are getting compiled without any exception. And where is the error? Shiva, there is no error. There is no error. Okay, why will you get any error here? Things are as per the syntax. Na? Rule says that it is not mandatory to have public class. We don't have any public class. Fine. We are able to compile it. And you see there is no, sorry, there is 3 class file got created. Fine. Clear? Jayesh is saying, can we have 2 class in the same file? Same. What will be the error? Duplicate class error will be there. Let me show you. You cannot have duplicate class in a file. Let me do one thing. Let me have 2 sample class. And if you try to compile it, you will get exception. Duplicate class sample. You cannot have duplicate class in a source file. Clear? Not possible. Not possible to have duplicate classes. Clear? Jash? Fine. Okay. Cool. So let me rename it to test class. Okay. Now right now if you see you don't have any class which is public. Still this is valid one. Still this source file is a valid class. Why? Why this is valid? Because there is no rule that you should have a public class. There is no such rule available. It's optional. Okay, let me show you. Let me try to compile it. You do not get any error. There is no exception, which means if you don't have any public class in a source file, that is also fine. No problem. Clear? Clear? Okay. Last thing that I want to discuss today, because I know this is a first session and things should not get overloaded on the first day itself. The last rule that I want to discuss is If you see the source file right now, we don't have any public class. And as I've told you that if you don't have any public class, then the name of the source file can be anything. Anything means anything. So because in this source file, there is no public class available, then the name of this source file can be sample.java, test.java, home.java, or anything else as well. Like I can keep the name of the source file as abhigya.java as well. Abhigya.java. The name of the source file as of now is abhigya.java, but there is no abhigya class available inside it. Still, I'll be able to compile it successfully. Still, we will see three class files here. Let me show you. Java C abhigya.java. You did not get any exception here. And if I show you, you are getting three class files. Home.class, sample.class, and test.class. Is that fine with everyone? Anybody have any doubt, please ask. But why abhigya.java? Atul, I just wanted to display you that you can keep the name of the source file anything if you don't have public class. That is what I wanted to show you. Clear? Because we don't have public class. Clear, Atul? Atul has a question. Jash has a question. Is there any rule for naming class? I can see all are starting with caps. Yes, there is some uh, standards which I will show you. Don't worry about that. Atul is asking, suppose there are same code and continuous change in the file names means public without public code will be same. What you are writing in a particular class, that does not matters at all for other class, because as I've told you that when you will be compiling the source file, for every class a different dot class file will be created. So whether all the class have exactly same code, it does not matter at all. Okay, anything else guys? Any questions? Please ask. Any questions? Any questions? Please ask quickly. Okay, can you guys take more? Can you guys continue for at least 15-20 minutes more, or you want to stop here? Okay, Shubhanshu is saying same class name, but one is private, one is public. As I've told you, you cannot have private class in a source file. Let me show you. Let me make sample as public, class test as private. And because sample class is public, the name of the source file should be sample.java. But as per the rule, you cannot have private class in a source file. So if I try to compile it, you will get exception saying class name samples are only accepted if, and basically you're getting this error because you have a private class available in the source file. Let me show you again. Just a minute. Because you have a private class, you are getting this exception. Here you cannot have private class in a source file. Okay. Whosoever was asking this. Oh, sorry. Modifier private are not allowed here. Okay. You cannot have private class. Okay. Gaurav is saying if we extend any private class, what do you mean by extent? What do you mean by extent? You are talking about inheritance. Gaurav, are you talking about inheritance? Why you are going to inheritance concept, buddy? That is not relevant to today's session. Huh? And also you cannot have private class. I have told you cannot create private class in Java. You can have either public class or default class. You cannot have private or you cannot have protected class in Java. That is not allowed. Okay. Okay, Atul, you have a question. Please tell Rahul.java is a new file and Abhigi.java keeps same. It is okay. I did not get your question. You want to have two different .java file with same name or different name? With same name or different name? Different name is possible. Na? There is no problem in that. You can have different, you can have multiple source file in a folder. That is not a problem. You can try it at your own. You try it, you will not get any error. Like when we create classes in packages, same package can have different source file. Na? So don't worry about it. That this will not create any issue. Anything else that you want to ask till now? Lavanya is saying, can you repeat the rules of source file once again like a summary? It's your job to create the notes out of it. Okay, I do not recommend. I have repeated it many a times. Now you should prepare a notes by going through the videos. Now, what will be the benefit of it? One, you will go through the videos again and again, at least twice. So you will learn those things very clearly, and you will also prepare the notes, and that will help you during the interview preparation. So prepare a notes of just go through the videos and try to create the notes. Okay. Swati is asking, sir, test and home are default. Yes, here class test is default class and home class is also default class. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so that's all for today, I think, because the next topic that I'll be covering is main method, how to execute a class, why main method is required, different scenarios with main method. So it will take at least 1 hour to explain all those things. So I think it is enough for today. Tomorrow we'll have 2.5 hour class at least. Okay. So tell me guys, as a quick feedback, do you like the session? At least for today's session. Did you enjoyed it or not? That is more important. Okay. And at any point of time, if you don't like the content, if you don't like the way I'm teaching, you just stop me there and then only. I do not hesitate taking harsh feedback. It is my job is to improve myself as well. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and believe me, you will learn so many things in this complete core Java course. Believe me, just follow the things that I'm telling you. Now, how to enroll for the course, how to make the payment, you will have to contact Rahul Arora for that. You can go to vitoautomation.com website. You will find the number of Rahul Arora there. You can contact him. Okay. I do not, enroll people, or I do not take the payment. I am just here to, teach you Java. And it's not only Java. I can, help you in Selenium as well. But Selenium classes will be covered by Rahul Arora. But anytime if you need any help in Selenium, I am, happy to help you guys there also. Okay. But I know you will not need any help in Selenium once you go through the Rahul's class. Okay. So that's it for today. I also enjoyed this session. I met so many new people today. So we'll meet tomorrow, same time, and we will have at least 2.5 hour session tomorrow. So be prepared mentally. Okay. You will learn so many things tomorrow. And if you want to get my contact number, uh, I am added in the WhatsApp group that have been created. So you can find me there. Okay. Sweta is asking when the Selenium classes will start. When this Java classes are done, then Selenium will start. Okay. So I will take 8 to 9 sessions to complete this. Recording will be uploaded today only by Rahul Arora on the Way to Automation website. And Nawaz is asking, sir, your YouTube channel as well. Yes. Uh, Tomorrow I will be sharing my YouTube channel URL with you guys. I am starting a new YouTube channel where I will be covering things like Java, Python, Selenium with Java, Selenium with Python, DevOps, Kubernetes, Docker, Jenkins, and so many things. GitHub, everything will be covered there in that channel. But it, of course, it will take some time. So starting initially, I'm starting with Java and Python. Okay, and also Git and GitHub topics. So tomorrow I'll share with the URLs, the YouTube channel name and link, everything tomorrow. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Take care. Good night. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you so much.